Hello, I'm Trent Paino with Heartland HouseMaster. We're here with Ploughe and the Ploughe Realty group of Keller Williams in Avon West. We're just talking about setting buyer expectations in the purchase transaction and then leading into the inspection. So we're going to get into a conversation and talk about buyers' expectations. So when you're working with buyers, let's say new, maybe first or second time buyers, what are your typical instructions, or what do you try to set them up for when it comes to you've accepted this house, purchase agreement, signed, now let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. What are you talking to them about?
Usually it starts when we're looking at the house, like the first time we walk in the house. I mean, I'm the type that will point out, see that spot, like, look, in the inspection, make sure that's pointed out, or, I'll talk about the siding or the condition of the windows.
So you're doing that
I do that
walkthroughs
like,
and things.
There's sometimes where I think clients feel like I'm picking the house apart, but it's like that's my job. I mean, that's definitely your job.
But you're selling the product, and you're either encouraging or pointing out different things that they're not looking for.
Right. It's just all education. The purchase agreement, it used to say major defect. That's gone.
Yeah.
But if you notice in the purchase agreement, it also says, the state of Indiana says what a defect is, the definition of a defect. It's still a major defect. They just did away with the word major. I wish they would kind of kept that in there.
It kind of drives home the point that this is something that you need to be.
Yeah, we're not talking a broken light switch blade. I wish more buyer agents would prepare their buyers for what the actual purpose of an inspection is.
Well, I think that's our end of it, and our side is the same exact thing, because we get then caught in the middle down the road where that client has not been properly prepared for the expectation of, okay, he's a home inspector, he's not a miracle worker. He's not the contractor that's going to be quoting these items or technically responsible for inner workings of the furnace. We try to tell our clients that it is an education-based inspection.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to tell you as much as we can about that home, but you have to have the expectation that there are going to be things on that list.
You can't pull apart the furnace and take it apart.
Yeah.
That's not your job.
Not our job. Not what we're there for. We're doing a visual, readily accessible inspection.
Right.
And so there's a line that gets drawn as far as what the buyer expects out of us and our abilities. But I think them just knowing that it is the education, the piece that says, okay, here's your list. None of it has to be done. All of it doesn't have to be done in the first year. But these are things you should be aware of when you're going to, you want to know that when you buy a used car.
And when I'm representing a buyer, I don't go to the inspections. I know you probably noticed that.
I was curious at what your stance on that was.
I like the fact that first of all, I want the inspector and my client to be able to have a frank conversation about whatever's in that house, and I don't want me breathing over them, feeling like, hey, I'm leading how this conversation's going. My idea is, if it's going to go bad, let it go bad. Let it go bad early, and let my client get out of the purchase agreement. If there truly is a major defect, let that client get out of the purchase agreement if they want. But we also have to, I also educate my buyer and say, hey, we got to give the seller the opportunity to fix this defect, because if we don't, then we are still kind of technically, there still could be a question on that earnest money, to where if the seller is willing to fix the defect, well, who cares? If it needs a new roof and the seller's like, yeah, we knew it, but we were just waiting to see. It's like, most sellers know at that time.
Well, and we try to inform our clients during the inspection, because they're right there with us, and we recommend that they are the ones that are asking more questions and more engaged. We try to educate them and say, hey, it's just a condition. It needs a little bit further digging into, but anything in a home can be replaced. And I think that's where buyers in the inspection, a few days of that nut and bolt of getting the inspection, reviewing the report, that emotional period of time, it's like everything can be replaced, fixed, repaired. And like you said, the seller has their input, because it may have already been on their list to address anyway.
Right. Well, and like, the other thing I tell my buyers is, I just built a new house.
Right.
Okay, before I moved into that house, did an inspection. New homes have issues. So my thing is, just because this house, some buyers freak out because, there's a list of, I don't know, 30 marginal items, or unsatisfactory items on the report. And it's like, you didn't realize even new homes can have, quite a few pages. And the older home, usually, the more you're gonna have. So I kind of educate them about that first, say, hey, this report's not gonna be pretty. They shouldn't be. I mean, your job is to go through the house and critique everything about it.
Absolutely. It's hard. I mean, we try as inspectors to just communicate and talk through that client, the whole process.
Right.
We go through our presentation at the beginning, explain to them kind of why we're there, what we're doing, what we're looking for, how we rate it, how that's laid out in the report, and we just hope that they're attentive enough at that inspection, that because that's their opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the showings and the walkthroughs that you guys do are probably less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, you're barely, I mean, unless it's a big house, you're barely, 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
It's probably great.
And that's really the second time they go into that house.
It's for the
It's
inspection.
for the inspection,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, you see a lot more things that second time,
Well, and for the buyer to kind of be aware of that from the agent side is kind of say, hey, I just want to let you know, there may be an issue, the roof has some age, the appliances, may be a little stressed, so don't let that shock you, today when you go to the inspection. Kind of that setting them up for knowing that there are going to be some things that aren't so pretty to talk about, but that's why we go through it at that time. But it's fun. It's always a good time to get into it.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
No problem.